What is up, ladies and germs? So we're going to try this YouTube thing out again. I don't have a separate camera for TikTok, YouTube, whatever. I have my phone, and it's a Walmart Straight Talk, so we know how that goes. Anyway, we're out here. We got the Cutlass out. We are going to mount where we want our fuel filter. It's a lovely thing. And regulator. We're going to run our AN lines. We're going to cut those. And hopefully get that all done today. I have to tighten up my motor mount bolts. I have to tighten up my trans mount bolts. It's all in. It's in there. It's all together. The bolts are in. They're just not tight. And hopefully, maybe, get this jumbled mess into the car. And we can hopefully fire it. Fingers crossed. Let's jump in. So we went ahead and pulled all the toys outside and pulled the Cutlass outside. We got the motor mount bolts on. We got the cross member mounts bolts on. The trans bolts on. But this bolt for the motor mount, apparently the threads got damaged on its way in. The nut's fine. Stupid screwdriver. The nut's fine, but the bolt's kind of foobarred. So I think I'm just going to pick up a new one. We'll figure that out another day. And the cross member fought me for a long time. So we're going to go ahead and just wait till tomorrow when it's daytime to put the whole fuel system in. I know where I want to put the filter. I know where I want to put my lines. I just need to measure the lines, cut the lines, put the fittings on the lines. Oh, it's going to be a fun time. Stay tuned. Beautiful, bright, sunshiny day today. Let's get this up in the air, find a place for our regulator, run our lines, and hopefully get lines up to the front today. And then we can work on electrical, because that's always fun. Here's more or less my thinking. There's already a bracket here. This needs to go forward to the front of the car. That's the old fuel line, so it looks like it'll work going to the front. What concerns me is back here, because my lines will come out here and then run out, but then they've got to come over here. I might have 45-degree fittings. I'll see if those will work on this, and we'll see if that can work, because if I can get a 45-degree in here, I'll bet you. You know what? I think that would work. Let's go see if we have a 45 and then reconvene back here. Alrighty. I like that. That goes straight. We can run a fuel line off of that. This comes 45 over, and the fuel lines come out of here. So, I think we're in business there. Hell yeah. Let's get this thing mounted. Then we can measure our lines, cut our lines, put our lines on these, put our lines on the pump. You know, it's a lot of rigmarole. Alright, got that clamp off. We're going to clean our surface up there so we get a flush, good ground. We're going to clean the end of our bolt. And then I might bend the tab a little bit because it's kind of smacking right here. Wow, this camera work is difficult. It's kind of smacking right here. And kind of fit it there, but even then it still kind of hits. So maybe some percussive persuasion. Maybe actually do it correctly. We'll see what happens. I do like these lines though. And look, I found fittings. The best part about these two lines, they're nearly identical. So we'll cut this one right here with a flat disc, how it recommends. And then we'll measure this out with this line, and we'll cut one probably an inch longer because the fitting is truck going by. There's a fitting is, I don't know, inch, if that longer. So yeah, those two pretty easy. The last one runs up to the front. It'll be easy, but finding how it's going to run should be fun. I'd like to get some heat sleeving, maybe some shielding or something, but we'll worry about that later. So a little while has passed. I've gotten the tank put back in. I've gotten the lines made. I made a little short TikTok about that. You can go check that out over there. But honestly, with these lines hooked up, they're still loose. I still got to tighten them because these are still loose. But with that all hooked up, man, this might be the most professional thing I've done. You know, besides putting a 2004 engine into something from 1979. Yeah. This thing is looking clean. I'll tell you what. Alright, we're to the end of our episode here. We're done working for the weekend. We got our fuel line fed to our fuel rail on the car. Now let's go ahead and loosely install the harness onto the car and see where everything still lies. I am waiting for these. I'm going to cut these off and I'm going to get new terminal connectors, terminals for relays, so I can wire in the actual size of the wires that need to go in, because apparently if you use too big of wire with the system, something about resistance and ohms and whatever BS. Basically, the website that I did all of this off of, lt1swap.com, recommends that you use 14 or 16 gauge wire to wire all this in. I also have one that needs to come for my fuel pump. I need one that needs to run for my fans, a couple for my fans actually. But apparently, when I'm all done with all this wiring, it'll be one wire for constant 12 volt, one wire for keyed 12 volt, and a ground. And apparently that should be everything, and the LS should fire. Because I've already got the fuel system ran, and this is all this crap. So I mean, that's all you really need. Hopefully it works. Nervous laughter. And this is exactly why people say that if you're not confident with wiring, don't get into it. Looks like a mess, right? Well, ECU connections, drive-by-wire connection, fuse boxes, relays, my other various connections, which are labeled so I don't forget. I loosely fit the whole harness. Coils are good, injector, knock sensors, our cam sensor, our map sensor, all of those over there on the corresponding side, and even our grounds. This ground, I need to cut this zip tie that I put on there so the ground can come up to here and actually work. The crank sensor, need just to run underneath the engine, across and over, and that'll plug in. So yeah, everything's fit. There's our, wherever it went. There's our fuel line that we made. Still got to clean up the harness install. I want to cut this zip tie so the knock sensor can come out a little bit, so this can come out because it's on top of my fuel line. And then we've got to basically mate that harness to this harness. I can remove this, I believe, because we have drive-by-wire. I have the pedal, the tack assembly, all that stuff. The only problem is, man, I got so much real estate up here, it's crazy. Not. So, half of me kind of wants to just get rid of this and this, but I need this to run my wipers. Unless I just drive it without any rain, which I don't want this to turn into a race car. I'd like to drive it around. I could remove this and not have cruise control, which I won't have cruise control anyway. And then I'd have to get a new cable as well, so I could run a cable from the transmission into the car. Stuff I'm gonna have to consider, I suppose. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. But I'm going to bed.